Hello guys, welcome back to Roxum TV and also welcome back to Gem Crypto. I hope you're doing well wherever you are. So of course today we are going to talk about Bitcoin because Bitcoin kind of retracing down to 120k a little bit. If you were lucky enough to catch our live stream yesterday, because I did exactly the prediction. Because as you know, I love to start my show with a little bit of TA. I usually start with the hourly, then move on to the daily and also the weekly candles of Bitcoin. And what I saw yesterday is exactly what happened today. I said to my community that on the hourly chart, it looks like we are forming a little bit of bearish trend, a little bit of bearish divergence on the RSI. And guess what today? We are bouncing off exactly at the resistance, at the rectangle, at the range that we drew on the yesterday live stream. So congratulations to you who catch the live stream yesterday, and for those of traders who actually took action based on the prediction that we made from our yesterday live stream. So of course today we're going to do TA as usual. We're also going to look at a little bit of on-chain analysis to come up with a more comprehensive and understanding of where Bitcoin is heading to, because now that some people is calling a cycle top, we're going to use data, actual data to back those claims instead of a general feeling that I feel like, okay, the cycle top hasn't happened yet. So we're going to do TA, we're going to do on-chain analysis, and of course, we're going to do news analysis as well, because like there are major news that is happening. For example, okay, Polymarket, they secure a new deal. I mean, congratulations to the Polymarket team. So they secure like a $2 billion deal with some TradFi company. Of course, we're going to get into that. There's also Russian stablecoin, and right now it's taking up because of token 2049. Guess what? Like a Russian stablecoin was, they have a booth at the Singapore token 2049. By the way, comment down below in the live chat if any of you attended token 2049. I did last year. I didn't do this year because I'm just staying put in Hong Kong and doing live stream. But I mean, last year, and it's just like every single year, there are hundreds of booths, many crypto projects fly all the way to Singapore. It was, if you are like really OG, Token 2049 actually started in Hong Kong and then they moved to Singapore. So anyways, long story short, the gist about the Russian stablecoin is that they have a booth in Token 2049. And because of that booth, it got, I wouldn't say recognition, but like people were paying attention to the Russian stablecoin. And the crazier part is that it's not illegal. And the Russian stablecoin, the volume is taking up, people are paying attention. So we're going to dive and we're going to look into that news. There's also another, okay, MetaMask is finally doing an airdrop, almost like an airdrop, not exactly. It's more like a reward base. So we're going to look into that. We also, okay, finally, we have this AI news. So we have Figure AI, this new humanoid robot coming into the labor market and stealing our jobs. So who doesn't want that, right? Anyways, we're going to look into that because that's a lot to dive in. I keep overrunning my show because my show on Roxum TV is only between 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. But there is just like every single day, there's so much to talk. I just want to keep my community up to date. So make sure if you want more updates from me or about the market in general, make sure the best way to follow me is on Twitter. All right, so here we are on the hourly chart of Bitcoin. Let me zoom closer because I haven't zoomed closer yet. So what we saw here is that we managed to call the basically the bottom, the local bottom, beautifully. And it's crazy to me, like how some people still think TA doesn't work. Because I don't know, I have been in crypto for quite some time, for quite a few years, and I use TA to give me a more like a comprehensive analysis when it comes to like certain asset, where it is going. So yesterday live stream. And if you don't believe me, just go back to Roxham TV or go back to Champion Crypto and watch my yesterday live stream where I called the bottom of between like 119, so 119K to 120K. It's so amazing to see how Bitcoin is basically bouncing off this range that we drew. So yesterday, okay, we talk about this nice rally. We pumped from 108K all the way to a new all-time high to 126K. And it's okay, like after this huge rally up, it's okay for Bitcoin to correct a little and really test 120K as a level of support. So we drew this range at, okay, this level, so this rectangle, that's a critical range that we are watching. And why yesterday live stream? Because I already told my community and actually warned my community about the hourly chart that I'm seeing, because I like to use data to back everything. Like what I saw here, why I was warning about my community is that, okay, there is a bearish divergence on the RSI that is forming here. So that's not exactly a bullish catalyst. Let's just put it that way. A bearish divergence forming on the RSI. So it makes sense. Like after Bitcoin, basically we have a nice little pump. So 108K to 126K. That's 15%. Actually more than 15% in just 8 days, in a matter of 8 days. So it's okay to have this like tiny correction. So dollar term, we did like, okay, $6,000. It sounds a lot, but like if you look at the percentage, it's like a little over 4%. So it's not like too bad. And in a healthy market, is essential for us to have pullback like this. Is extremely normal. So that's on the hourly chart. And what I like about the chart, what I like about what I'm seeing right here is that, okay, if we zoom closer to the 1 hour chart, we are essentially seeing this, okay, we have this level of support and Bitcoin just bounced back up. That is a really good sign. That shows that the 120K is really intact in terms of the basically as a major support for BTC. Let's now also hop onto the daily chart to see where Bitcoin is going. So on the daily chart, one thing I like to see and I like to have confirmation for is that, okay, let's go ahead and close the RSI. Okay, we have this range. So this rectangle is still intact. So 119 to 120K, that's a critical range that I'm watching. But one thing I like to see for Bitcoin basically continue to go on this rally is that, okay, we bounce off even on daily at 120K really well. However, if we zoom closer, like this daily candle, okay, today, because today is 8th of October, we haven't closed this daily candle yet. And what I want to see is that we actually close above 120K, so above the major support that we drew here, basically above this range. Like if we close above this range, then I can have confirmation that, okay, this is just a healthy pullback. We are just like retesting this as a level support with 120K or maybe like 119K. It's okay to wick a little bit, right? But however, if we don't get scenario number one, so scenario number one is retest and then we bounce back, ooh, we have like a new all-time high and another rally, right? But like scenario number two is that if we lose the support, then there is other support at 117K, like around this range. This is almost the mid-range that we were basically trading sideways, like consolidating for quite some time. So like like 2 months, 2 or 3 months, something like that. So this is the mid-range for 2 to 3 months. And also not only is the mid-range, like 117K is also the prior high, and also the mid-range. So what Bitcoin like to do is that, okay, the prior high is going to be the future support. Like if we lose the support at 119K to 120K. So again, like this range, this rectangle, I'm watching very closely. That's why I'm doing a daily live show with you guys. So those are the two scenarios. Like one thing I like to mention, and it's quite interesting because we covered that in our yesterday live stream. I pull out the 4-year cycle, this like little chart. Okay, it looks very confusing, but like what we are seeing on this chart is that, okay, if we apply the 4-year cycle, if we measure from the cycle bottom to the cycle top, it roughly accounts like right here 1,064 days before we see a cycle top. And that's what happened. That was back in 2015 and then 2018 and starting from 2022. Maybe, okay, if we apply this magical number, so 1,064 days, then we will essentially get the cycle top on exactly 6th of October, which means it was just like 2 days ago. So many people on Twitter was calling, okay, we have a cycle top. That's why we have a sell-off. It's really interesting to see. Maybe it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like exactly on 6th of October, we saw a new all-time high of 126K. And then we have this like massive candle, like this massive daily candle dip. Maybe it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I don't know. Like, do let me know your thoughts. I do think the 4-year cycle is intact. However, there are different ways of measuring it, right? So there are like one group of people using the cycle bottom to the cycle top. I use another method. So I use the cycle top to cycle top. So if we use this calculation instead, then we will get like around like 1,400 something, again, 1,400 days. So that's what happened in between like 2013 to 2017 and then 2017 to 2021. And if we apply that, we roughly get the cycle top in November. If we stretch that enough, maybe we get extremely lucky. Maybe we'll see a cycle top in December. But like, anyways, like from a 4-year cycle perspective, from a TA perspective, it's not shouting to me that we have seen a cycle top yet. And especially when we hop onto the weekly, like one indicator that I like to use is actually the 50-week moving average. So I don't know why is it not showing here. Maybe I reload a little bit, but like I'll just tell you the thesis about the 50-week moving average. So for the 50-week moving average, like, I'll fix that in a bit. So for the 50-week moving average, like if a weekly candle, if we drop below the 50-week for basically more than 2 consecutive weeks, then we have basically confirmed that the bull run is over. Like we're done. I'll see you in the next bull run, stuff like that. But like, I don't know why is it not showing here, but like, basically what we're seeing is that, okay, we are nowhere close to the 50-week moving average. So that's another point that I'm trying to make, like a building a case. So that's only for the TA part of things. So what I think like Bitcoin is quite predictable because I call the local bottom rather well at 120K. That was on the short time frame. On the hourly time frame, I exactly said that, okay, on the hourly in the next few hours or maybe in the next few days, we'll see a local bottom, and that is completely healthy. But like what I find it so mesmerizing about Bitcoin is that, okay, the October narrative is going so strong. Again, it could be a self-fulfilling prophecy, but like even if we drop from 126K down to right now 121K, like October is still up close to 7%. So that's really crazy. I don't think it's wise to bet against the October narrative. And I personally, I don't like pulling a short in a bull run. I just don't think it's wise. All right, so that's for the TA. Let's also hop onto the on-chain. And what I want to present to you or bring the data to you today is the short-term holder MVRV Bollinger Band. So what the hell are you looking at here? So basically this metric, it combines valuation and volatility to access when like short-term Bitcoin investors may be overheated or oversold. It used the short-term MVRV ratio. So again, like MVRV, we talk about that quite a few times on this channel. So market value versus realized value. So realized value as in how much people are actually paying for Bitcoin. And for the short-term perspective, it means like holders that are holding Bitcoin in less than 155 days. That's what classified as short-term holders. And what we're doing here is that we combine those two metrics together. So we have the short-term MVRV and also the Bollinger Band to show standard deviation range around its moving average. Basically, that's what we're looking at. So when the short-term MVRV oscillator rise towards the upper band, like the upper band, okay, it signals short-term holders are sitting on higher unrealized profits and the market might be overheated. When it drops towards the lower band, it indicates like undervaluation among recent buyers. So this tool helps identify like those cyclical extremes in short-term market sentiment and momentum. So what this chart has been telling us is that, okay, the short-term holder MVRV Bollinger Bands like continue to stay relatively tight, like the range is very tight, which hinted at a big move moving forward in the near future. With that move now well underway, well, we can see price bouncing off that lower band of the Bollinger Band in oversold territory and shooting straight up to the heated condition. So we are seeing, okay, that's the orange line, so that's heated. And if we get close to the pink line, that's overheated. And this chart kind of on a last year time frame, so it's not like a very long perspective. And we could see that in just like this year, we have basically Bitcoin price was getting very close to the overheated region. But right now we are not close to, we are not even touching the orange line, technically speaking. So what this chart suggests that like more price appreciation may be in the near future. That said, heated market conditions after a straight move up tend to lead to short-term corrections because, like, again, going back to the daily chart of Bitcoin, like that is a huge run up. So we have been pumping, and especially entering October, like exactly on the 1st of October till all the way 6th of October, we have been up only. So it's actually not surprised to have a correction. It's healthy to have a correction. All right, so that's for TA and also that's for the on-chain. Let's also hop on to some of the news that I saw really interesting, literally just happened half a day ago, just a few hours ago in Hong Kong. All right. So this is the Poly market securing a 2 billion investment. So who is paying $2 billion to Poly market? It is this, so ICEIs. So IC is the Intercontinental Exchange, the parent company of the New York Stock Exchange, so NYSE. So here, NYSE. They announced a strategic investment of up to $2 billion in Poly market. Of course, Poly market being one of the biggest crypto-based prediction market platforms. So this deal values Poly market at 8 to 9 billion post-money market cap, making it, of course, one of the biggest private funding rounds in crypto history and a landmark step bridging TradFi and DeFi, I will say. But this isn't just a cash deal, because like, why would ICE, like NYSE, the owner, pay $2 billion? Like, they're not just throwing cash around. They are becoming a strategic partner. Like, they're going to help distribute Polymarket's data to institutions around the whole world. So think of Polymarket's data like this. So it shows real-time probabilities of things that might happen. Maybe elections. So if we hop onto the Polymarket, we saw like there are different pools. Basically, you can bet on all these like bet. Basically, okay, when will the government shutdown end? And then Fed decision in October, World Series champion 2025. So you can bet basically every single thing you could think of, because people like to gamble. And now ICE, so ICE, so ICE will push that data out to hedge funds, out to analysts, out to traders who want to measure public sentiment the same way they look at price charts. So that's how crazy the whole thing is. So for Polymarket, this is of course a game changer, because Polymarket actually started in 2020, and only like a year ago it was valued about $1 billion. Right now, because of this deal, they jumped to $8 to $9 billion, and basically at 9x increased. So that's really crazy. And then, especially during the 2024 US election, Polymarket's trading volume exploded. Like more than $3.5 billion was traded on election-related markets. And then people was actually like a little bit bearish for Polymarket. That was back in 2024. People were saying that, okay, the volume was so high because people were betting on the US election. And once the dust has been settled, once the news is no longer hot, then Polymarket would kind of cease to exist. But that's not the case. Like, even after the 2024 US election, we are still seeing consistent trading volume. So here we are looking at the last 180 days on the daily time, the daily candle, daily time frame. So what we are seeing here is that we are essentially seeing a trading volume, like on an average every single day, is basically between 30 million to 80 million. So every single day, like that's a lot of money. So what ICE is seeing, so ICE, the owner of NYSE, what he's seeing here is that, okay, there's like a huge potential. They see this as the future of how people read markets, like real-time probability, not just headlines. It also helps Polymarket move past its old regulatory problems. So remember, back in 2022, they paid $1.4 million to CFTC for running unregistered binary options and get banned in the US. Well, now they're working with ICE directly, so ICE, one of the most regulated financial players in the world. It might finally open the door for Polymarket to legally re-enter the US market. So seems like $2 billion is a lot of money. Where Polymarket going to use that money, right? So of course, as the news said, ICE going to help distribute Polymarket's event-driven data to basically hedge funds. So a part of that course is global distribution. And then another part is like new on-chain derivatives. So they might start creating tokenized contracts based on real-world events. Like imagine a future market that trades on the outcome of elections. So that's really interesting, right? So like one thing about this company, if you guys are just like me, I'm not from a TradFi platform, not from a TradFi background. By all means, I started out straight in crypto, so that's why I'm a little bit more degen compared to the TradFi people. But like, if you didn't happen to know like what this is, basically, they are massive. Like, they own the NYSE, basically the multiple feature exchanges and data analytics companies across the world. Their revenue for 2024 alone was like more than $9 billion and up like 16% year over year. And basically they are printing money. They think that money grow on tree. Like, that's the level they're at. So basically, ICE is one of the most profitable financial infrastructure companies on earth. And they are using that money to evolve, to invest in digital markets and blockchain-based products. So for them, Poly Market isn't a gamble, it's a data play. And why they find Poly Market so valuable is that, first of all, Poly Market doesn't charge trading fees. It's been free to use. So, okay, revenue is a little bit small here. It's actually not showing on token terminal. Revenue is a little bit small, but the value is actually in the data. Because like, people are so crazy about Poly Market. They like to gamble so much. They just like to make bet. For example, okay, Poly Market nailed the 2024 election odds when TradFi, traditional polls, were so off. Like, I'm not sure if you remember, like, a lot of the prediction from the TradFi, from the traditional side of things, they predict that the Democrats will win the 2024 election, while Poly Market said otherwise, like Donald Trump will win, and of course the rest is history. So this is what ICE wants. They want real-time, like crowd-driven insights that they can sell to institutions, they can sell to analysts, and they can sell to hedge funds. It's like turning human sentiment into a financial signal, like something traders can really act on. So if you have never used Poly Market before, okay, I'll just like quickly show you how this like work. All right, of course, you have to connect your wallet. So go to Poly Market, connect your MetaMask or Phantom wallet. You will have to use USDC, so stablecoin, and then you choose your market. Like, for example, when will the government shutdown end? And then you can actually bet here. Like, people are saying that it will end on between 6 to 9. There are different dates. How about 10th till 14th of October, and then the odd will kind of change. So what you're doing here is that you can bet the money, like you essentially saying that, okay, between 10th to 14th of October, then the government shutdown will end. So if you're betting $10, then you have a chance to win $40. But again, the odds is not in favor. If you bet like $10, then you might win like $12.99. So something like that. That's how it works. So one thing great about Poly Market is like it's peer-to-peer, it's transparent, it's decentralized. So there's no house, no bookie, no manipulation. Of course, okay, there are ways to go around. Like, if you bet really big on Poly Market, you can still technically control the market, but like it's pretty decentralized so far, I would say, compared to a lot of options that we have. And then Poly Market, one of the expansion that they have in the plan, the strategic plan, is that they have a very exciting launch. So they are considering to expand its support to BTC, because remember, we're just like essentially still betting with fiat, like USDC, right? But they're gonna slowly expand the support to BTC. So up until now, you can only bet on Poly Market in USDC. You fund your account with stables, but like after the ICE deal, Poly market has started testing BTC deposits. So how it works is that you'll be able to deposit BTC directly into your account. The system will automatically convert your BTC to USDC for placing bets. When you withdraw, you can choose to convert back to BTC. So this makes a lot of sense, like especially since Bitcoin is still the most widely held crypto asset in the whole world. It opens Poly market to a much bigger audience as well, like especially users who hold BTC but don't want to move around into stablecoins because that's like a little bit of hustle, if you know what I mean. So that's a strategic angle. Like by integrating BTC, Poly market positions itself closer to the Bitcoin financial ecosystem, which is growing faster with things like Bitcoin layer 2s, ordinals, and tokenized asset on BTC. So if they nail the BTC integration, it could help Poly market onboard even more users who already trust BTC but haven't used DeFi before. And that's the key. Like ICE knows this. BTC integration is how you bring crypto native and TradFi users together on one platform alone. So that's why they're willing to invest $2 billion into Poly market. And this just get to show you the line between TradFi and DeFi or basically crypto is just going to get even more blurry. They are essentially maybe a few years down the line, we're not going to notice like which platform is crypto native, which platform is TradFi, because everything just works so smoothly. All right, so that's for Poly market. Let's also move on to the to Russian, like what the Russian has been doing. All right, so this news, what we are seeing here is that the EU's is possibly like placing sanction on the Russian stablecoin. So A7A5 is a Russian ruble-backed stablecoin that has been making a lot of noise, especially this few days. So the EU is considering posing like direct sanction on A7A5. Of course, is aligned with the broader crackdown of the Russian and stuff. So the plan would ban all EU citizens and EU companies and organizations from engaging with the token, even indirectly, like through intermediaries or third-party platforms. It also targets several banks in Russia and Belarus and Central Asia that has been processing A7A5 transactions. But here's the kicker, like right after this news, like the EU is banning A7A5 and also something about the Singapore token 2049. Like A7A5 market cap exploded 250% in a single day, jumping to around $500 million, making it the largest non-USD stablecoin in the whole world. So that is so ironic, like right after the threat of sanctions and also token 2049, then stablecoin is making so much noise. It's becoming so popular. So the West placing more pressure on Russia is nothing new. Of course, like US, UK, they have already done so. They have gone after like the A7A5 linked entities basically since 2022. The EU is right now just catching up. So even more tighten the net on how Russia is using crypto to bypass SWIFT. But here's the interesting part, because like A7A5 flow into European Bitcoin markets is actually pretty small, like only around 2% of total trading volume, something like that. So what exactly is this? Of course, it's stablecoin, because like the first time I saw this, I was like A7A5, like is this a gun? Like what the hell is this? But okay, one token of A7A5 equals 1 Russian ruble because it's completely packed. And because it's stablecoin, it runs on Tron, it runs on Ethereum, very similar to how USDC and USDT operate, except it's backed by Russian rubles instead of the dollars. So here's the controversy part, like about 49% of A7A5 reserves are owned by PSB, which is a Russian state-owned bank that is already under US sanction for financing the military. So this one, it pays interest to holders, and it has handled billions of dollars in transactions since launch, like hitting $1 billion daily volume by mid-2025. So it's really popular, basically. Is a go-to crypto tool for Russians, Belarus, and also some part of Central Asia to convert rubles into Bitcoin and other stablecoins for cross-chain, cross-border payments outside of Western control. So, of course, it's a stablecoin. So I would say it's really difficult to shut down, actually, because it's decentralized. It's on a blockchain. It's on Ethereum and Tron. Yeah, Tron, decentralized, whatever. So basically, it's on the blockchain. So it's very hard to to avoid detection. Like the team behind A7A4 has used something called the wallet cleaning. Basically, they wipe sanctioned wallets, like zero them out, and then reissue new tokens through a mechanism called destroy black funds. Is pretty straightforward, actually, like to stay one step ahead of enforcement. And despite all this, the token remains fully operational across decentralized networks. Its total supply and market cap have continued to grow, like proving that once the stablecoin gains traction, it's incredibly difficult for regulators to do anything about it. And it's decentralized, it's on the blockchain. So no, I don't think you can actually sanction the stablecoin despite what the EU or the West or the US is doing. You can't really kill it, but you can choke it off the system. Like, the EU proposal would ban all EU-based business from dealing with A7A5, just like how the US Treasury's OFAC, so OFAC blacklist works. That means exchanges like Binance or OKX or BitGet, they would have to freeze any wallets that links to the token and delete for A7, A5 trading pairs, just like that. And they will also target the issuer, its backer, like the backer bank, so PSB and liquidity providers in Belarus or some part of the Central Asia. But it doesn't stop peer-to-peer trade. Okay, it cuts off liquidity in fiat on-ramps, but that's it. And very interesting, like what we see is that inside Russia, the economy is looking super strong, at least on paper. GDP is growing. It's growing around like 3 to 4%, mostly fueled by military spending and high oil prices, of course. And then ruble itself, so the local Russian currency, ruble, they have been pumping against the US dollars. That's so crazy. Like they pump 45% against the US dollar just this year, making it one of the best performing currencies in 2025. But that's been achieved, of course, through multiple capital control. They have a really high interest rate, more than 20% actually, like 20 to 21%. And they have the foreign exchange control. So that's how they keep the money inside the country, inside Russia. And exporters must convert at least like 80% of their foreign earnings back to ruble. So that's why it has been rising. Crypto has filled the gaps left by these policies. So people are using tokens like the stablecoin A7A5 stablecoins like that for remittance, hedging, and bypassing restrictions. So in a way, A7A5 has become part of Russia's shadow financial system, helping keep cross-border payments alive while avoiding the global banking system. So yeah, it's very controversial. And to add to the twist, A7A5 at token 2049, they have a nice little booth. So they have a platinum sponsor at Singapore token 2049, which happened literally last week. They had this like little booth. They are flashing the marketing. It's quite flashy when it comes to the marketing. And then they have like a massage lounge set up to attract attention, basically. But the problem is, because people are complaining to token 2049, complaining to Singapore, because they are tied to the sanctioned Russian entities, right? So after the media started picking up the story, the event organizer, so token 2049, they quietly removed A7A5 names from the sponsor list and also from the website. Of course, it caused so much drama on Twitter because that's what happens, and people are saying that it's a compliance nightmare. And yet, technically speaking, like they didn't break any rules. Like A7A5 did not break any Singaporean laws because token 2049 was organized by a Hong Kong-based company, and Hong Kong isn't subject to the same sanctions. As I mentioned in the beginning of the show, like token 2049 actually started in Hong Kong. They moved to Singapore. So yet again, they found another loophole. That's what I'm saying. So what they took away from token 2049 was actually quite a lot. Is exposure, and it's showing people that, oh, they are legit, they are networking. And what they saw in token 2049 is a way to connect with exchanges, with wallets, with investors, especially in Asia and especially in Middle East, because they are banned in the West, right? But guess what? Like Asian market is huge. So like if the West banned them, they might as well just focus on other regions. So they likely saw Singapore or token 2049 as an opportunity to build partnerships, especially with non-Western region, or just to show them they're still operating despite the sanctions, and looking for like really position themselves as the non-USD alternative, because okay, they are not in a good position with the US, or they are working towards the de-dollarization. So they are really working up their ass on that. So I guess the key takeaway for this news is that, okay, we are seeing further diversion between the East and West, and crypto is right in the middle of it. Like everyone uses crypto, everyone uses Bitcoin because it's decentralized, and Bitcoin does not discriminate. So A7A5 shows how digital currencies are being weaponized, not just for speculation, but for like sanctions evasion or trade or influence. So yeah. All right, so let's move on to the last news I prepared for you guys. So MetaMask, they confirm finally an airdrop. Well, not really an airdrop, but reward, okay? Finally, they confirm a 30 million rewards program links to future token. It like we have been waiting for years, and finally we have news and confirmation. So let's dive into that. And especially if you guys have been using MetaMask, if you are an OG, you might want to pay attention to this because you might be getting some free rewards, some free tokens. So MetaMask reward program is meant to incentivize real on-chain activity. When it comes to real on-chain, it means things like swapping or bridging or other wallet interactions, something like that. It's also a way to boost their whole consensus ecosystem because they have a layer 2 now, which is called Linear. So it's a great way to promote the layer 2 Linear. They have a token, so that's the layer 2. They also have a new stablecoin, so MUSD. That's the stablecoin. This is a perfect timing as well. Like Bitcoin's near all-time high, like DeFi is heating up, and user on-chain activity is growing fast. So MetaMask is basically saying to the public, like, if you use the wallet or not just hold it, then we'll reward you for that. So season 1 is set to distribute over 30 million worth of Linear tokens to eligible users, and the breakout, it could happen in the next couple of weeks, so pay attention. Again, this is not really an airdrop. It's close enough because like an airdrop is more like a one-time thing, just like what happened back in 2020 when it comes to Uniswap. Instead, this is actually a point-based and ongoing reward system. You earn rewards based on your activity, so swapping, referrals, or using MUSD, and maybe later like governance participation, stuff like that. But yes, like this is definitely connected to the long rumor MetaMask token. Finally, and because like the CEO, consensus CEO, has actually been hinting for a token, like a MetaMask token, for years. And now that MetaMask is confirming a program tied to wallet activity and also tied to Linear rewards, like this looks like the first concrete step toward that token launch. But what we know so far is that, okay, you can earn the rewards through referrals and real on-chain and on-chain activity. This is tied to the consensus recent move. So this token, so Linear, the layer 2 actually launched its mainnet in September. So it's really recent. Of course, there's so much volatility, like right after that launch, we are essentially on the dip. So it's part of consensus push to build I would say a full Web3 ecosystem that connects its wallet, like layer 2 and stablecoin products all together. And yes, like after this announcement, like if you actually go back to the 7-day, we saw a nice little pump, like jumped 15% when this new breaks, but like just be very cautious when it comes to this time of this period, because there are definitely many scams and you need to watch out for. Definitely many fake sites claiming to be MetaMask or Linear token for you to claim. So make sure, please, like triple check the link that you're clicking, make sure it's legit. And even like Twitter, it doesn't always be the right one, because there might be cases that the Linear project, the official Twitter, get hacked, and then the scammers use a scam link to basically scam people. So just be very aware of that. Triple check, like even if you get a link, the best way you could do is actually copy and paste that link to Twitter and search that on Twitter if there are other people talking about it being a scam link. So that's one way to clarify if it is a scam. So anyways, I'm liking what I see, like the MetaMask confirmation for the token, and watching this like 30 million Linear token drop. So if you guys are OG, you'll be extremely happy. And once I get any more updates about the basically how to be eligible, then I'll let you guys know. All right, to finish this off, I want to hop on to Figure AI, so the humanoid robot. I'm a big fan of AI. Like, I cannot survive without AI. I talk to Grok and ChatGPT every single day, not just for crypto, not just research, but like absolutely every single stuff. I use AI, and one thing I look forward to is to combine humanoid robot to AI, because AI is like the brain for those humanoid robot. And Figure AI, they literally just a few hours ago, they're saying they have figure 03, and the full review gonna happen tomorrow, so 9th of October. Well, actually, they tease out the figure 03 because they have some testing going on, but like they actually posted a video on their official Twitter. So let me go ahead and see if I could share my screen, because like this is extremely annoying. Like every single time I have to link that again. So wait, do you have the sound? So this is literally the video that being posted just a few hours ago from the official account. So Figure Robot, Figure AI. So that's the Figure 03 coming tomorrow. So let's watch this together. It's really short, by the way. All right, so that looks great, right? Well, it is a lot more human-like looking compared to Figure 02 or even Figure 01. Even though it's mostly CGI, it gave us a good look what's coming, what to expect. So they have this like the tools for better balance and walking. Because one thing about a humanoid robot at the moment is that they move so slow. Like when you watch those videos, you have to put it on 3x the speed just to make sense. But like based on this video, it looks like the tools is getting better. The whole humanoid robot actually feel more human-like, and they have the mounted cameras that helps maybe see and interact with objects, like stuff like that. So we're gonna have a full review tomorrow, and of course we're gonna update you guys. Like, as you know, like I love AI, and I think like it makes sense to actually to maybe invest in AI. Like I am a big fan when it comes to Tesla. I've been openly talking about that on my channel, on my Twitter. I even like built a case around that as well. So yeah, so I did a video about humanoid robots specifically. That was like 6 months ago, comparing the US humanoid robots to the China ones. So if you guys are interested, like make sure to check out, because like there are different brands. They have China, they have Unitree. US, they have, for example, Figure AI, and also they have the Tesla. So in this video, I compare everything when it comes to the price, and also how well it moves, because they don't move very agile. I just put it that way. So if you're interested, make sure you check out this one. I have to hop because I'm running out of time yet again. But last call to action. Make sure to follow me on Twitter, so gemcrypto_IO, and also make sure follow Roxham TV, because we have many updates about the market and also about the news that you don't want to miss. So thank you so much for watching. Same time tomorrow. So I do my show Monday to Friday, 4 a.m. Eastern time to 5 a.m. Eastern time. So Thank you so much, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.